Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Moving Chicane podcast. This is episode number 2. I'm your co-host, Zach Johnson, along with my other co-host, Corey Mott. We have 3 guests here today. The first one is returning from episode 1, Jared Bundy. Then we have Archie Williams, the road course ringer, and then Ryan Taft.
Glad to be back.
How's it going, fellas?
All right, so we had an eventful week yet again. Trucks, nothing really happened. It was Sonoma, so what? Xfinity playoff race at Pocono. Some big playoff drivers getting in some big wrecks. Some guys who showed up 2 minutes before the race, ended sixth. That's all I'm going to say. And then we had a very interesting cup race as well on Sunday.
A lot of drama. A lot of
of
drama
drama.
llama.
Including one of the longtime veterans leaving the league, unfortunately.
Yeah, it happens. I was involved in it.
Oh, and we have a big announcement for the league going forward in season 2.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. And it was a boring race on Sunday in the real Cup Series, so that means that we don't have a lot to talk about because Martin Truex Jr. just ran away all day.
Hey, let's talk about Kyle Busch, though, all right?
He was there. Yeah, he got his track position, and then he just
did.
kind of rode it out.
Did. But yeah,
whenever Martin Truex wins, it's just boring as hell.
Exactly what Clint Boyer said. He's
Yeah.
the most boringest winner there is.
All right, let's kick it off talking about the Truck Series. We had a whopping 9 people show up to the race. Saunders absolutely ran away with it, lapped the entire field over the course of the 50-lap race. I finished in second. Being a non-road course racer, I appreciate when I can get a decent run at a road course. We had Joe Wright finishing third, Archie, who's here with us tonight, finishing fourth, Jim Mott finishing fifth, Bradley Stefane finishing sixth, Ryan Taft finishing seventh, Cameron Romano finishing eighth, and Xander Short only got 6 laps in before he pulled the plug.
Yeah, unfortunately, he Rage could have lived it. I was in the booth for stage 1.
Tough track.
Really,
Real tough track.
Really,
Yeah,
nothing
Sonoma's a
really
tough track.
interesting.
No grip there.
No
grip there at all.
Everybody was spaced out. It should be interesting for next week, though.
Quite honestly,
sure.
every single playoff Xfinity driver that didn't run this race completely missed an opportunity for some great practice, considering this race was 15 laps longer than our Xfinity race.
Really?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, our current Xfinity Series uses a 50% model, which is 50% laps of the Xfinity Series. Meanwhile, our Truck Series uses a different model that we're actually implementing next season for all of our series, which is Stage 1 and Stage 3 of that respective race. So the Truck Series ran, I want to say it was 15 and then 35. So 15 laps for Stage 1 and then 35 laps for Stage 3. And then they had another 15 lap stage for Stage 2. So it would have actually been 65 laps had they run an entire race there. But since we take Stage 2 out in this model, it was only 50 laps with 15 and
I don't
35.
even think the trucks actually go there in real life.
They don't. They did last year. They didn't go this year.
That's right.
Yeah, so we took that
Yeah,
model
that's
based
not
off
so
of
now.
last year's season. But yeah, so the Xfinity Series is actually only 35 laps. So it's like only running Stage 3 of the truck race.
Okay.
But they have a stage break at the end of lap 20 because it's 10, 20, and then 35.
Yeah.
So we use stage breaks at the end of the second stage for road courses.
Are we doing cautions, like actual normal cautions, or are we just doing what we did for
So there's only going to be cautions if there's a pile up on the track, which Sonoma has so much space off the track. I doubt we'll have a pile up unless it happens like in that like 270-degree turn or in the hairpin, probably.
Yeah.
I think it'll be everyone going off in the ASs and causing people going on track and hitting other people because they don't pay attention to where.
Yeah, I'll probably just be taking a nap during race control, to be quite honest with you. I'm just going to be there in case something happens, but I don't expect much to happen. I'll be there to throw one stage yellow and do the intro for the drivers meeting, but I'm not expecting to do much on Wednesday, so which is good because Thursday my dad's flying up here and we're driving to our new house on Friday down in South Carolina. So
oh yeah, you are missing that.
yeah, I'll be racing from next to Jimbo on Sunday. I'm setting up my computer next to his house because I'm not gonna have internet until Tuesday. So next week's podcast will probably be delayed until after the truck race next Tuesday.
Or I'll just run it myself.
No. I want to be here. So
Or
well,
you're
I could
calling
I
on your
could go.
phone.
No, well, no, I
Calling on your
don't. I
phone.
wouldn't have my recording devices.
Oh,
So
that's right.
um,
Yeah, I
so
can't
yeah,
do anything.
we'll
I don't
do
know
it.
how to work that.
We'll do it on Tuesday next week. So I'll make an announcement about it in the podcast chat group and everything. But yeah, Archie, what do you think about the trucks on a road course? You're the road course guy. We got a lot of road course stuff to go over tonight with Sonoma and the trucks, Sonoma this week in Xfinity, and then the announcement on the new league that's joining us. So what did you think about the trucks on Sonoma?
I don't know if it was just the truck, but they were terrifying to drive. Like I drove the next gens at the Glen, and I quite liked them. Like they were a little bit of a throwy car. You had to fight them all the way, but it was like quite enjoyable. But the trucks at Sonoma was just like you got on the gas, and it was just yep, we're dead. It's just I mean I really struggled. To be fair, I brought the truck like 40 minutes before the race started, but it was an interesting experience.
I think it's a lot of it's got to do with how like bottom heavy and just heavy in general these trucks are. They got a weird shape to them with the bed, right? Like every other
Yeah.
car's got a lot of extra stuff, like where the windshield
We
would be and everything. But these only have the bed of the truck, so the weighting is different than like the Xfinity car, the next gen, even the Gen 6. Like I think it's a much different car to drive.
we make a petition to take the tunnel cover, well, technically is the tunnel cover off the truck and have it just an open bed. I would love to see that.
Yeah,
That would add more downforce.
everybody has a toolbox in their back,
Or
the
we
bed of
just
their
slap
truck.
a fat wing on it.
I honestly,
You see those semi racers, like where they drive the semi trucks in a racing series? Have
yes,
you ever seen that? That is crazy.
It's
They made a
nuts.
game of it too.
There's the drag
I
racing
remember playing
too.
it as a kid. Yeah.
I saw a YouTube short because I don't do TikTok anymore, but I saw a YouTube short earlier
Yeah,
this
I
week.
like YouTube better.
There was a 800 horsepower pickup truck drag racing at a local drag strip,
That
and there
doesn't
was a
surprise me.
Tesla, and it was drag racing the Tesla, and the Tesla only beat it by about a car length. Like it was crazy, like because those things are fast, but this truck was hauling, dude. It was big. It was souped up like with the raised wheels and everything. It was nuts. But yeah. Honestly, Sonoma this week in Xfinity, I have the inside information from one of the greatest road racers in this division, Bob Baker. Bob Baker has told me that the Xfinity car is much easier than the truck car. So hopefully we'll have a little bit better racing on Wednesday.
Thank you.
I did turn some on in Xfinity. The only problem I ever had was the S's and the last hairpin, of course. But
It's a lot more
that's
flowy, the Xfinity car. A lot
it
more
is.
weight transfer, which allows you to manipulate the car a little bit more than the trucks. The trucks kind of just have a tendency to plow. But to be fair, the trucks right now are my favorite series in the season series in the league right now. So I might be biased, but I had a lot of fun in the trucks. I also finished second, so maybe it was just like my kind of car. But I'm good
What's
with
your
a
lap
tight
down
race
though?
car. So, yeah, I got lapped on the last lap, but like Saunders was just that much better than everyone.
You should have wrecked him, bro. You would have went back to back.
So let's just here's the first stat of the day. Saunders' fastest lap was a 119, and Joe's was a 120. But Saunders ran an average lap 4 seconds faster than anybody in the entire race.
Jeez.
So yeah,
He's
that's
got a
man is
really good
gone.
natural talent.
he also bought the track at about the same time Archie did. So he might just be a natural road racer. So he's going to be my pick to win Wednesday, and that would lock him into the championship race next week at Nashville. So
It would. Speaking of Xfinity, let's talk about Wednesday.
Oh, great.
Jared, rough race for you, man.
Yeah, it was.
Walk us,
Well, it was
walk
going
us
really
through
good.
what happened.
You know, it was going really good. I mean, speaking of Saunders, he got caught up in it, which is funny. We were in the last stage, and Saunders was saving fuel. He was on a different strategy, and somebody who's no longer in this league.
I think his name is Seth.
Yeah, he was trying to pass him for like 2 laps, and I was stuck behind him, just waiting it out. Eventually, I was thinking, well, he's gonna pass him, and then coming out of 3 after 2 laps sitting behind him, I got impatient, and that front stretch is like an LA highway, so you can just run like 6 cars. So I decided to just take it 3 wide, not thinking anything of it. And I guess I didn't really sit well with Seth, and he ran me down to the apron, and then proceeded to right hook me Chase Elliott style into Saunders.
Yeah, I was a decent bit of car lengths behind you guys, and I saw that, and I saw somebody up into the catch fence, but
I can
um,
I can relate to this. I Now let me put it this way. I was race controlling for this race. He didn't right hook you. He just acted like you didn't exist and just drove straight into
Right.
the corner. it
Yeah.
wasn't
I
it
mean,
wasn't as malicious as you made it sound, but it was
no,
malicious enough that it was like, what the hell
it was
was that?
extremely negligent because when you look back at the replay, he's got like after he ran me down to the apron and I got alongside him. He could have very easily just moved up another couple of lanes, like a lane and a half, and I would have overcooked the corner, and he would have just passed me. But
Yeah.
he decided to pinch me down and just turn into me, like I wasn't there. So
Yeah, I don't think he didn't do it maliciously. I
he
think it
didn't
was
try to
a
wreck me.
it
It
was
was
a
just a
lapse
lapse
in
of judgment.
judgment. Yes.
Lapse of judgment.
But unfortunately, in the process, you took Saunders out. You T-boned the wall, and then he T-boned you, and that is put you and Saunders in a precarious, almost must-win situation to get into the playoffs. I'm not gonna say must
Well,
win. He is in a must-win because
yeah,
he's significantly more points behind you. But if he wins, which he's looking like the favorite for Sonoma, that would actually bump you from the playoffs, barring
it would.
somebody to having an absolute
And
disaster of a
and
race.
the only person that would really have a disaster or be able to is me because Wold is plus 21,
So I'm
I
looking at
well,
it right
believe,
now.
and I'm
Jared
plus
and
10.
Tyler are 1 point apart on the cut line, fourth and
Yeah.
fifth.
it would.
Um,
It's only fitting, right, that me and Tyler are fighting for the last spot.
yeah, Jeremy
Yeah.
T-Bon is only 5 points behind Tyler. Or wait, no, Saunders is 2 points behind you guys. Jeremy T-Bon is 5 points behind Tyler. Jeremy T-Bon, love the guy. He's on our team. Probably not gonna
He's not gonna
probably
make
not
it.
gonna do
I
well
don't
at,
think
at
he. I
Sonoma.
love with him.
He's
Live in
probably
the same
out.
town as him.
The only other thing, yeah, that's true. A couple of Green Bay boys. Sean Hook didn't show up last week. Didn't take a provisional, so he is in a must-win situation.
Okay.
Caleb Sheets won at Pocono, so he's locked in, and then Connor Wold is 20 points above the cut line, so he is
Fine.
pretty much locked in.
And I'm 10.
You are 10 points, 9 points above the cut line. So
Okay.
if you don't have a disaster race, you should be okay. So that pretty much outlines. We have 2 races left in the season. This is a cutoff race this week at Sonoma. Next week would be the championship race at Nashville. So it's going to be interesting seeing how this plays out. I mean, there's a lot of storylines in both of our upcoming races this week. Are both cut line races for the
For
Cup
the
and
championship.
for the championship four. So um, yeah,
But
it's gonna be interesting to say the
it
least.
will.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know, Ryan. You want to talk about how your trip to Pocono went?
It didn't go that well.
Short and
yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Yep. I
He
just tried to stay out of trouble, but trouble always finds me.
he started P Xander 20th place and finished P Xander -1 in 19th place. So
Yeah.
but to be fair, you were running. You didn't disconnect from the race. So good on you to stick to it.
I always plan to get all my damage repaired and just complete as many laps as I can.
Yeah, tough
Yeah.
week there. A couple of highlights. James Mott, P9. That's another top 10 for him. He's looking good in the Xfinity Series. Aaron Rucker got a top 5, P number 4. Don't see him up there very
Just
much, so that's pretty
barely
cool.
beat me
And
out.
Brian
Yeah.
Fowler up there with a P5,
Whoa.
top 5 for him. So that's some good finishers from that Pocono race last week.
All right. You should overlook my great finish.
Well, you've been up there all season, so
That is true, but
you
on the final
have a
restart,
top
I
10 in
restarted.
every race
I will
except
say,
for Charlotte. So
I will say, on the final restart, I started in 12th. So
it's
I
not bad.
gained like 6 spots. I
You
was the first car and first
11, 11 starts, 10 top 10s. So I'd
Mhm.
almost say if you're not up there, there's probably something wrong.
And the only reason why I wasn't up there was something of technically you doing, which we covered last episode. So I'm not gonna get into it.
All right, let's shift gears. Talk about the Cup Series. A
Oh
lot
boy,
happened at Bristol last
lots
night.
to unpack.
two major storylines coming out of Bristol. Evan Clapper, well, actually three major storylines. Evan Clapper, he takes the win. He's locked into the championship for the reigning, defending, undisputed teams champion, Winston champion, and driver champion from season number season number 0, I guess, this is season 1 technically. So he is
Yeah.
locked in to the final 4. Alongside of him, I think Xander, as long as he shows up, should pretty much be locked in to the
Even if you
final
take a
4.
provisional.
And then from there, it's a dogfight. Top
It's
two
dog
that are in right now are Dominguez and Kenny. They're both sitting at 3,083 and 3,080 respectively. 5 points under them is Zach Bucher. 2 points under him is Nick Vasquez, which we will get to him in a second about what happened
Heartbreak.
there. And then
Heartbreak.
Jared Bundy is sitting 7 points under the cut line going into Phoenix next week. And then again, 20 points under them. Jeremy T-Bon probably out of it, barring some
Unless if he gets a Mickey win.
Yeah, some crazy win
Shenanigans.
and or strategy call that gets him the win there. So Jared, let's start with you really quick going into Phoenix this week. Are you gonna drive for stage points this week? Because I mean, you're gonna need some extra points here. It's looking.
Yeah, well, I mean, at Bristol, I don't know why exactly Evan pit the way he did. I mean, it ended up working for him, but I just kind of found it weird in the moment that he kind of took himself out of the front early, and that allowed me to kind of run away with the stage.
I was chasing you down though.
So
If I had 2 more laps, I probably would have gotten you.
yeah, but I mean, I was just hoping that because I think there was like 11 to go. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna hopefully run away with it, get my stage points, and ride around for
I
a
had
bit.
initially thought that he was trying to flip the stage, but then he didn't take tires because I pitted with him and I took tires there because it was around lap 48, and so I was like, okay, we have 5 sets of tires, 250 laps. I'm gonna take tires every 50 laps if the opportunity presents itself, right? I went in there with him and I took tires and I flipped the stage, stayed out. Well, I was going to stay out, but then okay, so let me talk about my strategy through this. So I went in and I pit with Evan, and there's like 3 of us that went in. And I came back out in like 15th place. I drove from 15th to about 2nd place in 9-10 laps. Put a lot of stress on my tires. So then I just went into the pits and I was like, okay, I fought for stage points. I didn't, I thought I was going to be ending up, flipping the stage or whatever. I didn't end up flipping the stage. I went into the pits, and I ended up pitting after the commitment line, and I got a commitment cone violation in the only track that currently supports the commitment line.
Yeah.
So, I ended up getting smashed to the back of the field, and it killed my night because I just got caught up in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I had probably about as good as night as I could have really asked for up until like 30 to go when I broke my toe link.
Yeah,
I won the first stage, got like 4th or 5th in the second one, and then was running second with like 30, 35 to go, and Xander was right on my left rear on exit, taking air off my spoiler, and I just kind of cooked it off the corner, not compensating for it,
yeah.
and put my car in the wall.
Yeah, I had a fantastic night, all things considered. I was in 3rd place at the end of the race, and I fell victim to unfortunate happenings with arguably the best driver in the league having his only skill issue of the entire year right in front of me on the white flag lap.
Yeah.
And I ended up spinning off of the back of Xander's car.
Speaking of the devil,
I was okay, real
should we
quick.
pull him in?
Yeah, bring him in for this segment.
All right.
Bring him in for this segment.
All right. Now joining
right.
us is Xander Short, the driver number 48 in the Cup Series. Xander, how's it going?
Going all right, I guess. What are you guys up to?
Well, we were just talking about how you wrecked me on the last lap of Bristol, so
Yes,
this is a great timing.
We were just
All right, roll the
working it,
replay.
No, it wasn't, and I explained it to Xander after the race, but it's good to explain it to everyone too. I was expecting Xander to actually, drive fast like he normally does. His car got mad tight, but I was mirror driving Kenny so bad because I mean, we were just battling all race, and it was just hard short track racing. But I was more scared of him running over me than Xander having an issue in front of me. And obviously,
Yeah,
I had a miscalculation,
and
and
that's
I was mirror driving, and I look up, and Xander's like going 10 miles an hour slower than me right in front of my car. I didn't have time really to go anywhere, so I hit the back left of his bumper, which just sent my car going crazy. And I ended up P6 or P7 because there's only 7 cars on the lead lap at the end of the race, but it was just an unfortunate happening.
and I that's other than that time Xander being a little off the pace. The only time I can think of Xander not being as good as he is, he's obviously I think he's tied for wins in the Cup Series with Evan now. Evan I think matched him here this week. But the only other thing I can think of is Gateway.
Actually, Evan has 4 wins and Xander has 3 now.
Oh,
Actually, if you count my All-Star win, we're tied.
Corey gave you that win. I had you.
I did mess up the All-Star race unintentionally because the
Caleb. Caleb gave me the win.
oh yeah, the squirrel in turn
with the
three.
squirrel in turn 3.
Classic.
Yeah, so it was an interesting race. There's a lot of drama. We'll start off with the easier one to talk about, which was the Tyler Kroshek incidents,
Yeah.
multiple. We as an admin team came together after the race and decided that it would be best for the Cup Series in its current state to remove his Cup license after this week's race. We felt like there was many issues, but to highlight a couple of them was just the lack of respect for lead lap cars. There was 3 or 4 occasions where he wrecked or almost wrecked multiple lead lap cars. So that was the main determining factor.
Yeah.
But
I
we
mean,
hope that he comes
context.
back in the Cup Series soon. We're not hard feelings on Tyler or anything. We're not Tyler haters. He's a great guy. Love
Yeah.
Tyler, but he needs to mature a little bit in the lower series before he joins us again in the Cup Series, which
Which to
hopefully
give
will be soon.
context, he was on a probation, a long-term probation for aggressive driving, so which that gives us the right to invoke his Cup license until he can prove in the Xfinity truck or whatever that he is capable of driving around cars for a long period of time without being too aggressive and kind of having more situational awareness, which is I think is something that he lacked coming in here.
I would say
Because
that is the one thing that's currently holding him back because he has great
Exactly.
pace.
He does.
He just doesn't know when to push and when to give.
And when to,
He
yes.
doesn't know
And
give and take.
an example is we were in stage 3. I was 3 laps down. I got turned and I got turned into Corey. Corey ended up being fine. Shocker. But I had like 4 minutes optional, whatever. My tow link was done. Got it all fixed. 3 down. So I was still on pace with the lead. I was still in the top 5 on running last, but I was just sitting behind guys. If guys caught up to me, I'd let them go by. I'm not gonna race anybody. I'm just gonna sit here and ride around, try to claim my lucky dogs and whatever. Tyler was trying to race the lead lap cars, and I had to tell him like, "Yo, relax. There's nothing to gain here. You're 8 laps down. There's nothing. There's literally nothing to gain." So he sat there, he relaxed, and then once the lead lap cars fell off with the tires, he drove right around them. So I think,
Yeah.
like I said last episode, he just needs the coaching.
The most egregious thing to me that I witnessed firsthand was right off of a restart. Tyler dove me on the inside, the first
I
the
do
first
remember that.
corner, but
I do
then
remember that.
he dove Kenny and I think it was Darby inside
Darby.
3
Poor
wide
Darby.
at Bristol, and he didn't wreck them, but it was so freaking close. Like I would have needed to change my underwear IRL if I saw the red number 17 Skittles car dive bombing Bristol like that in real life. It was scary. And Kenny mic'd up right after it, and he gave Tyler a piece of his mind, which in my opinion was justified. Um, and yeah, it's an awareness thing, and it's a give and take thing, and it is what it is. We're not gonna abandon Tyler. We're gonna work with him, and we'll get him back into the Cup Series as soon as he's ready, and
Yep.
he's matured. So hopefully this is what lights the fire under him, and helps him notice what he's doing wrong, and what he can do to fix it, and we can go from there. Um, let's talk about the second incident. Um,
Which one will that be?
the Nick Vasquez incidents,
Okay.
multiple. Um, so I also had a front row seat for this, both of his incidents. So the first one happened when Caleb Sheets, um,
Feel issued.
yeah, I didn't see what started the incident, but he came up in front of the entire field, basically, going into the corner. I mean, he didn't have control of his car. It's not his fault, but Bristol's such a small track and everything feeds up the track that once you lose control of your car, as if you don't hit the inside wall, you're just gonna kill everyone.
Yeah.
So when he did that, I was a couple car lengths back from it, and Nick Vasquez was on my outside. We were battling for position, and I saw Sheets sliding up the track, so I immediately slammed my brake, basically 100%, which anybody that drives the next gens knows that that's going to lock up your tires,
Or any car.
or any car
Oh,
that doesn't have
yeah.
ABS. Um, yeah, I locked my tires up, and I didn't stop fast enough, obviously, because when you lock your tires up, it decreases your braking performance. Um, when in the process of locking it up, I clipped the inside of Nick Vasquez, and then um, that started to turn him. But then we didn't turn too bad. But then the cherry on top was Tyler again coming in from the bottom, pushing me and Nick into the track, basically making me a sandwich between him and Nick, which gave me a meatball. I think it didn't give Nick a meatball, but it hurt him pretty bad. And Tyler's car, of course, is okay. But these next gen damage models, if you get smashed in the middle of two cars, they just break, like disintegrate. So I had required repairs from that. 30 seconds only. Luckily, I went down a lap and then got it back. But Nick was pretty irate at me about the situation. Um, Understandably so, but at the same time, like I did everything in my power to avoid an incident. I literally slammed my brakes 100%. Basically, what I told him is if he was mad about me locking the brakes up trying to avoid hitting him, that next time I was gonna full throttle him. He didn't like that. Um, and that made him mad. And then like 10 laps later, he was racing behind Tyler. Again, another issue with with Tyler. That's why I kind of like say did Tyler first because of compound on what we were just saying. But Tyler was
Yeah.
racing in the lead pack. He got loose or tight, one or the other. He lost control. He lost grip in his car. He went up into the wall coming out of the corner, and Nick was right behind him and slammed into him, and then slammed the
Killed his
inside
car.
wall,
Killed his
basically full
car.
speed, and his car blew up right away. He said, "Really, Tyler?" and then left the race, and then proceeded to message Tyler. Um, and
I never
then
saw those messages.
it was in DMs because Tyler was in our voice
Yeah,
chat, so he said that he
that's
was
what I
still
was saying.
blowing up his phone. Um, yeah, so basically that led one thing led to another, and Nick ended up leaving the league. Um, Sad to see him go.
It is. I hate it. I have more of a personal connection with Nick. He was literally the first person I talked to in this league. The first person I grew close to. Obviously, as an admin, I'm pretty close to everybody now who comes into the VCs and talks to or whatever. I set this differences aside on track or whatever. I still hang out. I don't carry anything over. But
Obviously,
it sucks.
it
I hate
sucks.
that he left. I
Absolutely.
really do. I know it says it sounds like I'm saying this to say it, but it's not the same one that I'm here.
Yeah, and me and Nick have had our differences for a while now, and last night was kind of the climax of it all. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I know why he left. Um, Previously, he had left and then come back. He cited some issues that he just didn't, that just it didn't help with the league being stressful and being this is a very high emotional, emotions run high in this league. People get on each other's case, including myself. I'm very
Yeah,
vocal.
this is
This is not a league for the weak-minded.
no.
But yeah, and I myself had a coming to Jesus moment last night with everything too, and I'm still quite
Yep.
upset with how things are handled in the Cup Series when it comes to emotions. It's been a problem all year that we've been trying to address as an admin team, and it's
Yeah,
definitely gotten better.
it's gotten better.
But it's
I
still
remember.
at a point now where it needs to be fixed continuously. Like, I mean, obviously we're continuously working on it. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
when you have a lot of, and this crazy thing is we don't offer any prize pools or anything for this league. It is
Yeah, we
100% free to join and enter, and
obviously you
it's
have to pay
all
for the
for
tracks and
bragging
cars,
rights.
but
Well,
you got to pay
yeah,
for the tracks and cars. Obviously, that's a given. But
but that doesn't go
yeah,
to our
all of it's
pocket. That
free.
goes to iRacing.
Yeah, and I mean the only time we give out money was for the All Star race, and what was
Yeah.
that, $10?
And the preseason events that 8 people
That
each
is true.
showed up to.
I was busy.
No, but yeah, this is a really emotional league, and it gets to you. And that's
I
I
wanna.
and before when he had was trying to leave the league, he did leave the league, and he ended up coming back. It was because it was so emotionally taxing, and I don't blame him whatsoever because it's
Yeah, I
emotionally
don't.
taxing on me as well. Like I totally understand what he's saying. Um, and I hope that whether he chooses to come back or not, he makes the choice that makes him the most happy because at the end of the day, if you're not happy and having fun, then what's the point?
Yeah, that is true. Uh, I hope he comes back, but I will. I will run DU Motorsports for him, and we'll say if he doesn't come back in his memory, I will obviously. I decided to keep it the name DU Motorsports if he doesn't come back, but I know he's gonna hate me. But I am gonna switch it to Chevy just because I have the alliance with Corey and whatnot, and was already planning to run a team under top tier, but this allows me to for sure have the drivers because I got all the drivers on board that were gonna run with him to switch to Chevy and run Chevy. Actually, Steven or Stefan hasn't messaged me yet, but Dominguez is already on board with it. So I for sure have one driver, and then I have Saunders racing for me part time, which was another announcement I was going to make on this podcast. Um, but I it sucks. Like I said, I have more personal connection. Me, and Nick, outside of racing in this league, play different games together, and whatnot. Watch videos, talk shit. He's Joey Logano fan. I'm a Kyle Busch fan, so we was always talking shit to each other about it for shits and gigs and whatnot. So, yeah, it sucks.
We're gonna miss him, man. He's been here for over 6 months now, almost 8 months.
Yeah, he was one of the, I believe, one of the
And
first
like I
people.
said, him, and my dad. Me and my dad both had
Actually, no,
major runs in with him throughout
me and
the.
Nick joined around the same time because I think I joined a week after Nick.
He was in the playoffs last season.
Yeah, I remember. I think I joined like 2 or 3 weeks after Nick because I remember seeing his messages in the Cup recruit when first got joined onto that team. What was the name of that team? Wenzloff Racing.
Wenzloff from Motorsports.
Yeah,
Shane
Wenzloff
Wenzloff
Motorsports.
Wenzloff joined, raced one race, and then left, and then Nick took over the team and renamed it DU.
And then Wenzloff tried to join back, and it was already DU and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he raced one race and then left. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So next or Zach's gonna be keeping DU. Which your old plans then basically fell through with Tyler losing his cup
It
license.
did,
Um,
but
it
I
was a necessary
I will
evil, but
say I gained. I
oh, hello. Oh, I think we're having a technical difficulty here. If you would bear with me for 1 second here, guys. I think I've lost them here. Hello?
What? Discord, just go
Oh,
quiet.
yeah.
Mine
Discord
did
just
too.
died. Hello,
Oh,
you guys
Chicanes
okay?
just crashed.
Okay, there we
Okay,
go.
got
we're
you.
back.
Okay.
We're back. Okay.
We're back. Had a little crash. We're back.
Discord died. Thank you,
Yeah,
Discord
Discord was
servers.
They died.
I thought it
They go
was
to
my
Discord.
end, but it went quiet for
I did
everyone.
too
Okay.
because I was
I did
talking
too.
and everyone went quiet. But I don't know. I want to repeat what I said.
Yep.
I wanted to give Xander a chance and Ryan a chance to talk about the Nick situation, just because they haven't chimed in. And Archie hasn't had any runs in with Nick, but Archie's going to be key for the next portion that we're going to talk about here. So Xander, if you want to start us off, talk about how you feel about Nick leaving and the run-ins and the relationship you've had with Nick.
Oh well, it really started off. I mean, early last season. Well, not really early last season, but most of the time last season. I mean, Nick really ran good. I mean, it wasn't. Evan was clearly on top last season. I was nowhere near the picture of being anything championship contender wise or anything. I rarely ran any races last season, but it was always Nick and Evan up there. Like it was going to be those two at Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
Clear as day. And but coming into this season, I really wanted to work with him. I wanted to work with Evan. Like I really wanted to just get good as the season went on. And luckily, I started to get a little bit better here and there.
You mean
And
your grip hacks?
yeah, you could call it grip hacks. We, I don't know. I just took it day by day and progressively got better. And then I started noticing that Nick, he just wasn't. He wasn't what he was last season when it came to like the rivalry. Well, if you want to call it the on-track rivalry between him and Evan. And it was just me and Evan most of the time up there, and Blake would be up there sometimes, and then Dominguez, the few awesome pit road calls he's had this season, just
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse.
it's
Okay,
yeah.
boy, relax. We want
Anyway,
to talk about a Mickey
it's
win.
it's been
Calculating
it's
fuel
been one heck
mileage
of a
is something
season
else.
for everybody. It's been a good season, other than the on track stuff that we've had. I'm just glad that off track we've built the relationships that we have with each other, and we're all pretty good friends, and we hang out basically every day
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But no, towards the end there, before Nick left, I mean, me and him were starting to get buddy buddy, like pretty good. I mean, even on track, we were starting to get uh, cleaner. And that brings me back to earlier this season when me and Nick were like head to head, like
Hated
bumping
each
heads
other.
every single race. I think we finally just came to a thing that said, look, we're both not going to get through this if we don't show each other respect.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, me and him off track, off Discord together, and just we were sitting there playing BeamNG one night and just talked about it, and we came to an agreement that we were just going to start giving each other a little bit more room, at least until Charlotte. But Nick made it very known that if he was here for Charlotte, that if Charlotte wouldn't end well for me. I kind of wish that he was still here because I felt like we reached a point to where we were racing so clean around each other and nice to each other that we really would have been able to bout it out at Charlotte nicely. But I'm kind of bummed that Nick left. I mean, I understand that there's other people in here that think he complains a lot, which I mean he did. He did complain a lot, but
He's super competitive.
He was extremely vocal, but at the end of the
he
day,
was.
I really enjoyed having somebody that was outspoken.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice having somebody around that would like, excuse my language, but cut the crap. You know what I mean? Like he would tell everybody how it was.
So
He
their face.
didn't care if he hurt somebody's feelings, if it was their fault. He straight up let them know. And I mean, I'm not saying that Nick was the one to take fault in every accident or blame fault on every accident, but there was his fair share of incidents that he didn't cause that he was or that he did cause, and he was like, my bad, that's on me, that is on
Yeah.
me. I mean, he was respectful at times, and then other times, I mean, Nick was just one of those guys. He's kind of like Rodney, not comparing them, but kind of like him.
He's gonna kill
But
you.
that they just bumped heads with everybody, whether it be Kenny, whether it be Rodney and Nick, or whether
Jim
it be
Mott.
me and Nick, whether it be
Don't
Jim
forget
Mott
the
has beef with
legend, Jim
everybody.
Mott.
The same way Nick has beef with everybody. I mean,
Well-
I think Nick even had beef with his own teammates at times.
Part of
did.
it is because he's extremely stubborn in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like
Yeah,
in,
when he-
in like
Honestly-
in that moment, he just it's what he thinks, and that's it. And then because once you get to talk to him after, and the emotions cool down, it's like completely different.
And that was a really good thing about Nick. Like everything that happened on the track, he would leave on the track. I'm talking like me and him would kill each other in one race. 25 minutes after the race, he's sending me memes, and we're sitting
Yeah.
there laughing
He,
it
wa-
up.
he
while
was
we
really
sweat
good at
together.
he was really good at keeping it separate.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like we need people like that. I mean, because there's a lot of these guys in here around the same I rating, and if you guys take that into officials or something like that, and then you all start racing each other like you do in the league races, villains are going to get even more hurt. Like it's just
Yeah.
not. It is not worth it.
Yeah, and that rivalry's just kind of grow bigger and bigger.
And that's
Exactly.
all it's going to
And
do.
then it gets personal at that
And then
point.
it's going to escalate to something like Tyler and Nick. They had some
Wow.
massive beef this season. I'm talking like every race, if one of them was near the other one, Rodney. Well, actually, the better comparison's Rodney and
Yeah,
Nick.
intentional wrecking.
With I mean, just
Yeah.
the intentional
all the way
wrecking, the
back to Vegas.
penalties, and
Yeah,
Vegas
the one
and
race I
Homestead.
miss, everything just goes to shit.
I will
Rodney's-
say Nick was the most mentally developed driver in the last season. So he went from being a loose cannon to actually having a lot of respect on the racetrack, and he still told you how it was, and if he was mad at you, he still told you he was mad at you. Kind of like Kyle Busch-esque, he just doesn't. He's just
That's what
straightforward
I
about
was
it.
gonna say. He's got a lot of Kyle Busch in him.
Oh
I
god,
know
he's gonna kill you for
kill
that.
us. He's gonna kill me for saying this, and I know I'm
He's
gonna
like a
text
he's
him
like a
after this
hybrid
gets
between
uploaded.
Joey and Kyle though. He's got the
Yes, he is.
Joey Logano swagger with the Kyle Busch mentality.
Mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he would kill you for saying that.
if
He-
he
he-
if he
he
doesn't
is.
if he doesn't come back, he'll be greatly missed. It is definitely a loss to the Cup Series.
It is.
And
It is.
if he does come back, obviously the racing will continue to be exciting. He was great in the booth with Evan when he showed up for the Xfinity Series broadcast. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll just take it day by day, and if he comes
We
back,
will.
then great, and if he doesn't, then it is what it is. We can't do much about
If
it.
he
But
comes back before Charlotte, oh shit.
well,
He
yeah,
comes
that's
back
true.
before Phoenix. He's under the cut line, so he's got to come back before Phoenix.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it develops. Obviously, this is a developing story. We'll keep you updated next week. There'll be more news regarding it, but let's shift gears to a less
Yep.
somber note, and let's talk road course racing. The show
So,
goes
Archie.
road racing, huh?
The
Yeah,
show dips into Archie's territory.
Took your time.
So
It's not like Archie's car.
for for those of you who don't know or have not heard, we are running a test series called the Show Sports Car World Challenge. This will be in an interesting format. So we're going to run it in splits. Obviously, this first split is going to be kind of a trial split. We're going to be taking some in-house guys, then we're obviously going to be recruiting outside the league to find some more natural sports car racing guys. It's going to be featuring the LMP3, the brand new Leger P320, and then a Grand Sporting division that's found in IMSA, which is all GT4 cars, and it's gonna be multi-class. So how it's gonna work is each split is gonna start off with an endurance race, which will be a team race, a partner race, more less of a team, more of a partner. It'll be two people to a team. And then the races will be 120 minutes or 2 hours in length. So the first endurance round, have to kick it off at Daytona, just a classic um, endurance track. And then,
The oval, right?
yeah, no, Daytona road course. Same layout as the 24, Rolex 24 at Daytona that IMSA runs. Um, and then after that endurance round, it goes into solo racing for sprint races. So that'll be at Summit Point Raceway, Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca, and then Road America. And we're going to call this the American split. So all these races are obviously in the United States. And then if we have the participation, we'll go next split to a Euro split. So that'll feature, the likes of Monza and Red Bull Ring and, tracks over in Europe, and then so on and so forth. We'll go to Eurasia and so on for the next split. So it's a world challenge broken down into splits based on location. Um, so the endurance rounds will be separate from the sprint rounds. So it'll be two different series. Teams obviously will be scored for the endurance rounds, and then individual drivers scored for the sprint series. So it's kind of like two leagues wrapped into one with the same cars. It's kind of a cool little format. I've had a lot of feedback on it. A lot of people really like it. Some people think it might be challenging to get team racing on a Thursday night, so we'll kind of see how that develops over the first sprint split here. So, but yeah, Archie, take us through the world of the world of road racing. This is a fictional series, so to speak. There's no series that actually runs LMP3 and GT4s together in real life racing. But iRacing did just start a series with these exact cars for official racing.
Yeah, well, I think the car pairing will be really nice because the GT4s aren't too quick, and the LMP3s aren't exactly the fastest prototype out there. Like the LMP3 car sort of feels like a GT3 car down the straights, but just has like the downforce of like an LMP2 car, but slower. And it's quite nice. It can be a little understeery on turn in when you really want to push, but otherwise it's like just chuck in a little bit adjustments and it should be right. And the GT4 cars are just slow GT3 cars.
Yeah.
But I think the tracks we've got should be good. For the racing, they're also pretty wide, I guess. I haven't really done anything at Summit Point, so that might be interesting.
Summit
But I'm
Point, it's actually quite wide, and that big L shape kind of it almost is flat out. It might be flat out in the LMP, so that might half the track might just be a straightaway.
that'll be good.
So, yeah, so road racing comes to the show. It's obviously we're going to be having to look outside for full participation. But for those of you who might be on the fence about doing road racing and everything, the cars that we picked are beginner-based cars. The LMP3 is more of a slightly more advanced car. It's a little bit faster, a little more twitchier, can be a little more upset by um, it gets loose. Basically, is what twitchy means. You
Yeah.
drive it loose, you throw the car around a little bit, kind of like an open wheel car. But the GS series, the GT4s, are extremely beginner friendly. And if you've never raced road before, they're not very fast. They are very easy to learn. They don't get upset very easily at all. And I highly recommend you give it a shot because it's actually quite fun. I never used to be a road guy myself. Um, and then, in the past month or two, I've really been throwing myself into road racing. It's been very fun. Even, if Xander can get into road racing, just about anybody can get into road racing. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Xander's
It's
been doing a
very,
lot of
very
rally.
What is that
Yeah.
supposed to mean?
yeah.
Rally's fun though.
For
It's
somebody
very
that
important
didn't used to,
to-
or that never drove anything but the next gen, and now he's driving a Cadillac hybrid. I mean,
He even tried not the GT, the Gen 4 after being a hater on it.
yeah, that is true. Xander's really expanding his taste buds.
His
It's changed
horizon,
man.
yes.
I was
But
actually pretty decent in that Gen 4 too.
yeah, it was, and I won that race. Never forget it.
the
You
one
didn't win
time
that
Jared
Gen
beat
4
Xander.
race? Oh, you
He
did
did.
it. You did
He
it.
did. Because I had a
did it
skill issue on the
Wilkesboro.
last corner.
I didn't even have to. I didn't have to
You did
turn
it- you
corner.
did
I
it
was definitely
Wilkesboro.
gonna.
Yeah.
I
At
just
Kentucky,
didn't. I
in
didn't
Kentucky,
need to.
nobody kept up.
No, Kentucky just blew everybody out of the water.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't race.
Yeah. Anybody else have thoughts on the sports car challenge? I mean, go ahead. It's an open forum.
It's like anybody that is nervous about it. I know when I started road racing, I was told try the GT4. They're extremely easy, and they are there. And
They
I'm
are.
coming from a very beginner perspective. Uh, that GT4 car, it's literally either full brake, unless there's very specific instances where you don't, or basically full throttle.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other. It's very, very, very simple.
Yeah, I mean the car only gets twitchy and stuff if you hit the wrong curve or whatnot, and part of that comes with learning how to race road. I know I'm still developing in it. I have a lot to learn. I know me and Archie are running the 6 hours at the Glen this week, so that Archie's kind of teaching me a lot. Even in the last 24 hours that we've been practicing, he's taught me a lot. A lot more than I know. I've like doubled in what I know now. Um, the GT4s are really easy. They're a D class car. You get them at D class, so I do recommend coming out, trying it. Nobody's gonna scream at you, yell at you, whatever.
I will.
Well, I mean, but Jared's already gonna mess up anyways, so it's
I
whatever.
am going to be an absolute wrecking ball.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
GT4s tend to be very understeery, which
They're
means that
just think of
if you're
you're
not
driving a
braking
boat.
enough, you're not going to be able to turn the car. That's going to be the biggest challenge is just braking enough so that your car turns. And then at that point it's just really
Think
just
of it.
figuring out how hard you have to brake to make your car turn in but without losing speed. That's
Yeah,
like
just think
basically the
about it.
challenge of it.
Think about it like driving a boat. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can feel
Well,
very boaty.
I think the real challenge from the oval guys coming into road will be just like learning how to trail brake, because I think in some cars, maybe not the GT4 cars because they're kind of easy, but definitely the prototypes. It's just like you need to really figure out how to get that trail brake in so you can like use the car's aero to get it turned in as well. And it's like I know in the next gens it's not too hard. It's just like you sort of just brake hard, it'll stop, but it's like you can brake like earlier or even at the 200 mark, but actually get like more time just by trail braking properly and really getting that car turned into the apex and like accelerating hard off the corner.
Yeah,
Something that I learned that it's different, like coming from a next gen, because I did a lot of Sonoma practice for my league race that I only made it 15 laps into.
Huh.
But
I believe.
in the next gen specifically, it's not necessarily how hard you hit the brakes that locks the tires. It's your shifting point during your braking that I've know. I think that's what I could be wrong, but I
Oh,
believe
I
that's how
had
it
a
works.
different experience when I did
I mean,
the Glen. It was
but
more just like, I mean, for the Glen, it was
I
like getting that.
I you can go ahead.
Uh, yeah, like for me when we did the Glen race like a couple of weeks back or a couple of months back, I don't remember what it was. It was like very much like getting that brake bias to a point where you felt comfortable at sort of slamming the brakes at like 80%, 70%, because otherwise it's a little hard to like not lock them up because those brakes are quite locky. If you don't go anywhere near 100%, it's just gone. And you're never making the corner. But it's like once you get comfortable, you can start to like slowly push it. I think it's more frontwards because I think you go rearwards to make it feel better under braking. But then you slowly try and get it towards the front,
Yeah, but backwards.
and it just feels better.
Frontwards makes the car more stable.
Yeah,
Back makes it less, more
yeah,
loose under
I
braking.
can't remember what it was.
No, but yeah,
Yeah,
for those of
but
you who think it's just going to be like running stock cars on road courses, these cars feel way better on road courses. They actually want to turn and they have downforce and are stable. And they can be quite fun. So, like I said, really highly recommend that you guys come out and give it a shot. I'll be there. Archie will be there. Caleb, 100% will be there. Jared, Zach, all of us will be there. Xander, all of us will be here. Um, really excited to run it. We're gonna have a decent amount of outsiders. I'm guessing. I'm gonna start throwing the advertising out probably tonight to the forums and whatnot. I just haven't had time, but I'm sure we'll grab a decent amount of guys that'll be coming over to do just the sports car stuff. And maybe that'll cross over, and maybe we can get some of them to try the oval stuff. You know, you never know. I mean, Archie was never an oval guy, and he's done some oval stuff with us. So maybe there'll be some more open-minded folk.
W.
Yeah, I mean to add to that, it's like I'm sure if you like jump into our Discord at some time, like if I'm on, I'm happy to help. If you're having like problems with the track and stuff, I can help you learn the track or just like fine tune some of your things. That's like your braking or whatever. Like there's plenty of guys in here that if you need help, like even for oval, you just like ask one of them and they'll surely help you. Nice bunch of guys in this Discord.
Absolutely. So one more time, we'll just run over the schedule. So June 29th is preseason testing at the Charlotte Roval. And then we've got the endurance round number 1 on the 13th of July at Daytona. And then in consecutive weeks after that, we have Summit Point Raceway, the Glen, which with the boot, no cup series layout for that. With the boot, Laguna Seca and Road America. That'll end August 10th, and that's the sprint series. So those are 45-minute races. Yeah, so it'll be a good time, and hope to see you out there. So, do you guys have anything else? There's nothing, like I said, nothing really happened in the Cup Series this week. Denny Hamlin wrecked himself, but other than that, I mean,
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
one that didn't finish the race.
yeah,
I mean, Corey LaJoy pulled something that in iRacing anybody would have instantly died, but you know, he
yeah,
hit the tires in what is that, 11?
yeah, 11 or 12, or yeah, 11
Shout out
because 12 is.
to wasn't it Reddick that basically
Oh yeah, he
cut
did
the
like
whole
flipped around.
corner,
Yeah,
the
and
whole track
NASCAR
to go to the
determined
pits.
NASCAR determined that as him doing an entire another lap and held him for like 2 laps in the pits or something, right?
Because technically he
He had a
crossed the
drive
line.
through.
Well, he didn't
went
cross the
back.
start finish line
I
though.
thought he crossed the start finish line because
No,
then
he
he
didn't
went
leave
back
the
behind
hairpin.
it.
He didn't leave the hairpin.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that was
I
weird.
think they made him have a drive through. I
Was
think
it?
that's what it was.
A drive-through, but they
Yeah,
said
it
that they
was.
scored it as him having an extra lap. So I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird situation with that.
Yeah.
But not a whole lot of other
Anything.
stuff really
They should have
happened,
scored it as if he went backwards on the track,
which he did.
which he literally did.
Yeah.
He
I
might have
don't know.
took the fast way backwards.
It was great heads up though, because his car would have not made it another 2 miles around the track to get back to the pits. He would have killed the car. So
Yeah, I think
better to do
NASCAR
that
just wanted NASCAR just
somebody
wanted
else.
a caution to shake things up, and they
than.
penalized him for taking that away.
Yeah. Well, then they got that anyways by throwing that Ryan caution of crashing
Yeah.
in front of the field and then throwing a precautionary full course yellow. Like somebody slid across the field. They didn't even make contact, I don't think, and then they threw the yellow for it. It was crazy. Yeah. It was NASCAR's off next week, so we're not gonna have anything to talk about next week besides our league.
Yeah.
But
That should be
NBC's coming.
interesting.
Excited to see Junior again.
Oh,
Yes.
I know what we can talk about real
Go
quick.
ahead. Go ahead.
Mention it.
Yeah.
The 24 hours at Le Mans.
Oh yes, we completely forgot about the Garage 56 entry.
We did.
Big W for NASCAR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Prove
think it
to the
finished the race,
world
though,
they
right?
can turn right.
that
was
that
it,
car
Drew?
was a monster.
It didn't finish the race, though, right?
No, they did.
No,
They
they
did.
did.
No,
They
no,
did.
it did.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
Had
they
a
were
bit of
out
gearbox
for
issue.
they were off track for an hour and 20 minutes because they had a transmission / driveline issue. But other than that, and I mean,
I was thoroughly impressed with the going of that car.
yeah,
Oh yes.
great job by was it Jimmy?
Hendrick.
Yeah, but it was
Button,
Jimmy,
Jason
Bunsen,
Button, and some
Rockefeller.
Mike
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller.
Yeah, Rockefeller. That was great, honestly. I hope they bring more cars and or join a class next season or next year.
I
Like,
think
so they
it'll
can
be
actually
slow
race
Cars
on
were in
them.
a class. That car was a monster.
Yeah, I don't know. They'd probably have to. No, excuse me. They'd probably have to match the specs of the GTs, right?
Yeah, well, they announced the Mustang GT3, so Ford are doing something.
Yeah.
But it
Or
doesn't exactly looks like a next gen. Yeah,
you create a whole new class and throw more NASCARs out there.
yeah. I
Exactly.
mean, you just try and get those manufacturers over and get their cars into
Well,
GT3s. 'cause-
Toyota was already racing as a hypercar, so what's
Yeah.
stopping
Can you
that?
imagine a Ferrari NASCAR?
Yeah.
That'd be
Jesus.
insane.
That'd
Do
be
not ever bring
hilarious.
that up again.
Ferrari would have
the LMS division's coming, the Le Mans stock division,
Oh
and
my
they're gonna bring back the Monza Oval. They're gonna bring back the Le Mans or the Monza Oval. And they're gonna run an endurance race at the 60-degree banking.
Honestly, earlier this season, in the Coke Series, when the Coke Series ran the Monza race,
Yeah.
Mhm.
really good race if you watched it.
Monza is
The Oval?
so fun. No, they
No,
ran
it was
they ran
Oh.
Grand
Road
Prix.
course.
Grand Prix, yeah.
It was Grand Prix without the chicanes.
Oh, they didn't do it the chicanes. Okay.
They didn't do the chicanes, no.
The chicane should be terrible. on that
It'd
track.
probably be a good one-off
Then
race
that's-
for
then
NASCAR
that's-
to do, you know?
Then that's just
Like they did-
basically a right turning oval
Yeah.
without the chicanes.
Well, they had that
couple hairpins.
the chicane on the, I guess you call it
The
back
backstretch, yeah. But that's
one
like
leading into that big long straightaway.
Well, you
yeah,
gotta
that's
care
a
about it.
that's a
Yeah.
fast
Scar-
chicane though.
Yeah,
It's real
I wouldn't
quick.
be opposed to having kind of like how NASCAR in real life used to do that race in Japan. Was
Japan,
it?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
When
Just
they
have
went to
that one off.
Suzuka one year, then Motegi the next year.
Yeah,
Yep.
just have that one off. Kind
Yeah.
of non-points thing. Just
But no, we got the Chicago Street Course, so
oh yeah, that's
What a-
so
what a
good.
That's,
great
And
their-
pick.
that's
And
gonna
if
be a
that
crap
goes
show.
well, don't worry, we'll get the New York street course too that Formula E ran on, which is even skinnier than the
Jeez.
Yeah,
Chicago
90-degree
street course.
blind corners with cars that don't like to turn. Yeah, this will be fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, they did widen a couple of the corners though, because I drove
Oh,
the
they
new
use the sidewalk
2023.
now.
I drove the 2023 Cup layout on iRacing, and they fixed a couple of the corners. The one that's after the first, not the one with the start finish line, but the straight that like kind of does like a sweeping
Yeah.
right hander. They moved it to the street behind it that used to be the runoff area, which actually gives them a little more space to turn. Um,
yeah.
so that's nice. They're working on improving the layout, obviously, but I still think it's gonna be a god awful race.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it was
You think
anything
about how
like our Indy
bumpy that
race,
would
that was
be?
terrible.
Yeah, we've
It's
got
very
3
bumpy.
weeks until that, so we'll buckle up for
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
We got
will.
Nashville, and then we've got the Chicago Street Course. So
Alex Bowman better not come back. He's gonna re-injure his back just driving on
Alex
that bumpy
Bowman's been
track.
back for 2 weeks, Hobie.
Oh. You,
Oh,
you, tell
where
how,
have you
you can
been,
tell how much I
Jared?
really pay attention when I watch.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't been anywhere near it. So
It's Gregson that's out
yeah,
with the concussion.
Gregson's got a concussion right now. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna wrap it up there. We covered everything for the league and some general news. So thanks for coming out here again tonight, guys. Appreciate all of our guests. It was a hodgepodge of guests tonight. Kind of just how
was.
we wanna do it. We don't want to specify 1 or 2 guests or whatever. Just whomever may be around on a Monday night and wants to come chat with us is how we kind of want to run it, an open forum to some of the league members. So.
Unless per special request, of course.
Oh yeah, per special request. We have a couple of those down the pipeline.
Well, we
Big
do.
Tex is in the process of buying and furnishing a new house in Florida right now, so he's unavailable
Ooh, Florida.
for. Yeah, he's a Florida man now.
We do need to get Jim Mott in here for an episode.
Jim Mott will be made
Pablo
available
Mott.
now. He's no longer racing on Monday nights in the Relentless Racing League. I think, or at least he was off this
Good.
week. I think it was because he wasn't off. He took off because it's a road course. But I don't think he's going to be running in it anymore. Is what he was telling me. But he goes back and forth on that. He was telling me he was going to quit like 3 weeks ago. So, but yeah, we'll have some special requests and. But yeah, when we don't have guests, we'll just grab whoever's around. And figured Archie would have been a great guest with the announcement of the sports car series. So, but yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. Thanks to everyone out there in the league, as always, for continuously supporting us, and thank you to you guys for showing up tonight. And everybody have a wonderful evening.
And one last thing, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below if you have any questions.
Yeah.
And league information, as always, is in the description. So if anybody needs any help getting to us for any outside listeners, it's all down there. So have a good night.